Today, I come to speak directly to the part of you that's been silently crying out. While the world sees you functioning, you wake up, do what expected, smile when necessary, and keep moving. Deep down, you've known something isn't right. There's a heaviness you can't explain, an invisible pressure that follows you into every room, every decision, every relationship. You've tried to ignore it, told yourself it's just a phase, just stress, just part of being human. But your soul knows better. It's been quietly whispering, hoping someone would notice a change that's been dragging through every season of your life. The truth is, you've learned to live with chains that were never meant to be part of your journey. Chains of fear, chains of shame, chains of guilt that didn't even begin with you but were passed down like invisible inheritances. Chains built from the words others used to define you, from the rejection that left you questioning your worth, from the trauma that stole pieces of you one moment at a time. You've hidden those wounds under achievement, distraction, even service. But I, your God, have never lost sight of them. I saw the moment the first link of that chain was fastened to your spirit. I saw the look in your eyes when hope slipped through your hands again. I watched as you kept walking, carrying things I never asked you to carry, trying to prove your strength when all I wanted was your surrender. And I know, oh, how I know, that you wonder why the breakthrough hasn't come. You've seen others move forward while you feel stuck in a spiritual fog, as if something unseen has been holding you back. You've cried out in the night, asking me, what's wrong with me? Why can't I move beyond this? My answer comes now, not in the form of a thunderclap, not through some distant voice, but in these quiet, living words meant for your soul alone. Today is the day when the chains begin to break, not by your might, not by your effort, not because you figured it out or earned it, but because I had declared it. There comes a moment in your story when heaven decides the pain has gone on long enough. There comes a moment when I, your Father, rise and say, this one is mine, and it's time to break what was meant to destroy them. That moment is now. These chains have been invisible to most, but not to me. I've watched as they tightened every time you believed a lie about yourself. I've seen the way your heart shrinks back when it should rise in boldness. I've heard the internal war you fight every time you try to step into something new. And I've wept with you, not because you are weak, but because you've been wounded. You've been carrying things in silence for so long that you forgot what freedom even feels like. But I haven't forgotten. I still remember the version of you I created before the world touched your spirit. I remember the joy I placed in your heart before fear ever entered. I remember the purity, the trust, the light. And I haven't given up on restoring all of it. I haven't given up on you. Even if you've been disappointed again and again, even if you've fallen and felt too ashamed to rise, even if you've begun to wonder whether freedom is possible for someone like you, I am here to tell you it is. Not only is it possible, it is promised. You see, your struggle hasn't disqualified you. It has positioned you. While the enemy thought he was bearing you underweight, I was preparing to show you a strength not your own. While the world passed by, unaware of your hidden battles, I was planning your release. And while you felt forgotten, I was drawing closer. Because I do not forget what I love, and I love you more than your mind can comprehend. My love isn't fragile. It doesn't flinch when you fail. It doesn't shrink when you doubt. It doesn't withdraw when you stumble. It stays. It surrounds. It fights. And today, that love is going to do what your strength never could. It's going to break chains. Quietly, suddenly, irreversibly. Chains that came from your past. Chains that were born in fear. Chains that came through people who didn't know how to love you. Chains that you never asked for, but ended up carrying. Chains you thought were part of your identity. I am not intimidated by what has held you. I'm not surprised by how long it's been there. I see it all, and still, I say you are free. Not in theory, not eventually, but now. As you sit in this moment and receive these words, the process begins. Something is shifting in the unseen. There's a rumbling in the spirit. What once bound you tightly will begin to loosen. What once silenced your voice will begin to shatter. What once drained your energy will lose its grip. I know the patterns have been deep. I know the chains have wrapped around your mind in layers. But I am deeper still, and I am strong enough to cut through all of it. This isn't the beginning of a self-help journey. This is the beginning of deliverance. And it starts with you simply saying, "Yes, Lord, I receive this." You don't need to fix yourself to receive freedom. You don't need to understand every part of the process. You don't need to explain why it took this long. You only need to believe that I love you enough to intervene. And I do. I have come for you. I am not a faraway God who watches in silence. I am the one who kneels beside the brokenhearted, who holds shattered pieces in my hands until they glow with resurrection life. I am the one who walks through fire with you, who speaks in storms, who waits in quiet moments to whisper, "You are not alone." And now, my child, I say to your heart, rise. Not in striving, not in fear, but in the gentle strength of knowing that I am with you, and I am breaking what was meant to bind you. This is not imagination. This is not hype. This is the movement of heaven in your direction. It is real. It is personal. It is now. You're here, reading this, not by chance, not because of a coincidence or some random scroll through screen. You were led here by my spirit, drawn by an invisible hand that you may not have understood, but felt deep within. That stirring inside you, that sense that this message has your name written all over it. That's me. I know how to speak directly to you, even when you've been surrounded by noise, even when others overlook you. I know how to reach the center of your soul and let you know, I see you, I know you, and I am with you. This moment right now is holy. It may feel quiet, it may feel simple, but in the spirit realm, there is a shaking, there is a tearing, there is a release happening because the time of delay is over. The time of hiddenness is ending. You're stepping into the beginning of your becoming. I'm calling you into a deeper space with me. Not religion, not performance, just presence. I want to walk with you like I walked with Adam in the garden. I want to speak to you in the stillness. I want to heal the places you've given up on. I want to fill your heart again, not with noise, but with my voice. All it takes is one simple agreement. Whisper if you have to. Cry if it's all you can manage, but say it. Yes, Lord, I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to let go of what's held me. I'm ready to see myself the way you see me. That whisper is the sound of chains beginning to crack. The chains you have felt, those invisible ties that limit your movement, that make joy feel fleeting and peace feel like a distant memory, didn't start yesterday. They didn't appear overnight. They were formed over time, in silence, in pain, in moments when you were most vulnerable and least protected. Some of them were inherited, passed through generations that never knew how to name the weight they were carrying. Others were forged in specific moments that split something inside of you. Words spoken over you that cursed rather than blessed. Betrayals that made you question your worth. Rejections that made love feel unsafe, even in my presence. Slowly, without realizing it, you began to believe lies that were never part of my design for you. This is a truth you need to understand now. Every chain begins with a lie. That's how the enemy operates. He doesn't come with loud declarations. He comes subtly, planting seeds of distortion. He takes your experiences real, painful, raw, and wraps them in a twisted interpretation of who you are. He whispers that you're unlovable when someone walks away. He suggests you're broken beyond repair when you fall into the same pattern again. He tells you that if healing was possible, it would have happened by now. And slowly, those whispers become a second voice in your mind. So familiar you begin to think it's your own. But it's not. That voice, that condemnation, that relentless pressure, it's not from me. I do not shame. I do not accuse. I do not push you away when you struggle. I do not tire of your process. I do not reject you for falling short. My voice speaks life, not death. My spirit convicts, yes, but not to shame you, only to heal and bring you back into wholeness. That weight you've been feeling, that heaviness that won't let up, that mental exhaustion that drags behind every step. It's not the weight of my presence. It's the residue of a war happening in the spirit over your identity. Because here's what the enemy fears most: a son or daughter who knows who they are. He fears the moment you realize that the same spirit who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. He fears the hour when you stop performing and start abiding. He dreads the day you believe you are loved without condition, chosen without qualification, and free without exception, because that kind of child walks in power. That kind of child cannot be manipulated by shame or fear. That kind of child becomes a chain breaker for others. And beloved, that is what you were born to be. But the enemy knows that if he can get you to believe you're still bound, even when I've already declared you free, he can keep you living as if the prison door was still locked. He knows that if he can cloud your mind with guilt, self-doubt, and unworthiness, you'll stop reaching for me. You'll isolate yourself, punish yourself, numb yourself, and eventually accept the chains as normal. But I never made you carry chains. I made you to carry glory. The process you're in right now, the awakening, the shaking, the stirring, it's not confusion, it's revelation. I'm pulling back the veil on what's really been going on. Many of your struggles have had little to do with external circumstances and everything to do with spiritual resistance. The delay you felt was not always about timing. It was often about warfare. The disconnection in your relationships wasn't just miscommunication. It was interference from old wounds the enemy used to divide what I meant to heal. The exhaustion that's been hanging over you like a cloud wasn't just from busyness. It was a spiritual fatigue from carrying lies too long. Now, I want you to understand how I see all of it. I do not look at you through the lens of your battles. I see the fight, yes, but more than that, I see your heart. I see that you never stopped hoping, even when it hurt. I see that you kept reaching out to me, even when I felt silent. I see that you wanted to quit so many times, but something inside, something I placed there, kept whispering, keep going. That whisper was me. I've never left your side, even when you felt like you were walking through shadows. Especially then. The time has come to name what's been hidden, because the only lies that have power are the ones that stay in the dark. Once they're exposed to truth, they begin to lose their hold. So I speak truth over you now. You're not a failure. You're not too broken. You're not forgotten. You're not disqualified. You are not late. You're not who they said you were. You're not the sum of your past. You are not what you did or what was done to you. You are mine, chosen, called, covered, becoming. You are loved beyond what you've ever known. The healing of your life begins with the healing of your mind, and that's what I'm doing now, one thought at a time. I'm removing the lies like rotten roots, and I'm planting something new. Truth, identity, belonging. You're not going crazy. You're being cleansed. That's why it's been hard. That's why things have felt exposed lately. Because I'm not covering the wound anymore. I'm treating it. Healing always feels worse before it feels better. But trust me, the pain you're feeling now is not punishment. It's the undoing of everything that was never meant to stay. Closing. My beloved, as you sit with these words, let them sink deep into your soul. This is your moment of freedom, your divine release from the chains that have held you too long. Say yes to me today, and watch what I will do. I am with you, now and forever. Amen. If this message has touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel. Your support means the world, and together, we can continue to share the hope and love that breaks every chain. From the depths of my heart, I ask you to join this journey. subscribe, and let's walk in freedom together. Amen.